if we're going to be good critical thinkers, if we're going to eradicate lazy thinking, if we're going to build our mental might, we have to be able to challenge ourselves. We can't accept at face value the positions that agree with our own, the people who make us feel good about ourselves, the comfortable status quo thinking that we already abide by. We have to be able to expand our thinking even when it's uncomfortable to do so. Part of that includes being able to evaluate the sources that we rely on for information. Some of them are good, some of them aren't so good. Some of them have an agenda, some of them don't. And when they do have an agenda, which most do, there on our part needs to be an interest, if we're going to expand our thinking, an interest in at least balancing it out so that we don't have all the same sources sharing all the same agenda, because that doesn't give us anything to critically think about or to expand our own thinking with. Before we can do any of that, we have to know what is the intent of the source that we're relying on. And by source, I mean news media source or person in your own life who you have discussions with, or instructor if you're taking a course. What is their intent? Very few of us, as much as we might like to, very few of us have a pure intent founded in objectivity, providing just the facts so that you can make your own decisions. Most of us have some sort of agenda or intention. We want to influence others. We want to be validated in our own thinking and in our own positions. And one of the ways we get that validation is by causing others to think the way that we do. Now, I am not saying this to cast aspersions on anyone. What I'm describing is just human nature. However, what I want to do is call your attention to the fact that you have some control here. You have an ability to understand others' intent, their point of view, what they're trying to accomplish when they share information with you. Let me take that a step further. I firmly believe that every single person tries to do what they think is the right thing to do. Nobody goes out and says, I want to do bad today. I want to do something wrong and hurtful. Instead, most people are coming from a place of wanting to do what's right. So if they're sharing information from you that's biased, whether it fits your bias or not, most people are trying to put information out there in a way that they think is the right way for whatever their own personal motivations might be. So let's give people a little grace. Their intention is not to hurt you. It's not to do something bad to you or bad in the world. They believe, for some reason, that what they're doing is right. And if we can accept that, with, I'm sure, very few exceptions, we can point to some historic figures perhaps who were psychopathic or something else that caused them to not be living by what I'm describing. But by and large, people operating on good intent, if we can accept that, then we can enter into an openness where we don't have to accept the information, we don't have to believe the information, we don't have to agree with the information that's being presented, and we don't have to like it, but we can consider it. We can look at it and evaluate it and seek to understand it, if for no other reason than we want to build our mental might. We want to understand what other positions are out there, even if ultimately they only end up confirming our own position and we're more solid and confident in it. To do that, though, the first thing we have to do is think about the intention of every single source that we go to, not to judge it or to call it right or wrong, but to just to be informed about what's causing that source to position information in the way they do. It's one of the first disciplines of good critical thinking.